Over the last 30 years, many Wonderkids have emerged from within the Premier League. Let's have a look at some of the best on Football Manager 2014. Where better to start than with arguably the best English central defender of his generation, John Stones. Back in 2013, he's 18 years old and has just arrived at Everton. He's already looking pretty impressive, particularly with his physical attributes. Unfortunately for the blue half of Merseyside, they'd only be able to keep him for 3 seasons, before Man City came calling. After failing to make the grade at Manchester United, Ravel Morrison joined West Ham in 2012. In his first full season, he got into some decent goal-scoring form, demonstrating why Sir Alex Ferguson described him as a brilliant footballer. After falling out of favour though, he was loaned out to a number of Championship sides as his career faltered. Eventually Lazio would sign him on a free transfer in 2015. The 13-14 season saw James Ward-Prowse emerge from Southampton's youth system. He'd spend 11 full seasons on the South Coast, scoring 49 league goals, before West Ham United signed him last summer. It's easy to forget that Serge Gnabry once played for Arsenal. This year would see his most involvement on the field, as he played 14 matches, scoring 1 goal. Following a disappointing loan spell to West Bromwich Albion, a return to his homeland would materialise with Werder Bremen, a wise move which ignited his career and enabled the eventual move to Bayern. It's pretty incredible to think that a team with Jack Grealish and Callum McGregor almost got relegated from League One in 2014. Between them they mustered 17 goals, just enough to finish in 20th place in the division. Grealish did enough to prove his qualities though, and the following season he'd begin to cement himself as a regular starter with Aston Villa. To another England international, Harry Kane. Back in 2013 he's just returned from 2 rather unsuccessful loan spells with Norwich and Leicester. Few people would have imagined back then that they were looking at a player who'd score over 200 Premier League goals, as well as becoming England's top scorer in history. Maybe this season he can finally get his hands on some elusive silverware. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain made a strong start to his career with Southampton and Arsenal, and seeing some of these attributes here, it's not surprising. Long before he was ravaged by injuries, he showed elite athleticism and versatility. 11 years later, he's still playing with Besiktas in Turkey, hoping to reignite a faltering career. I feel there was a period when you couldn't turn on Match of the Day without Saido Berahino being amongst the scorers. During his first 2 professional seasons with West Bromwich Albion, he found the back of the net 29 times and looked to be on course for the top of the game. Sadly, it wasn't to be. After a big money move to Stoke, the goals dried up at the most inopportune time as they were relegated to the Championship. He's still currently playing for AEL Limassol in Cyprus. After developing with Queen's Park Rangers, Liverpool signed Raheem Sterling in February 2010. 2 years later he'd make his professional debut against Wigan. During 3 seasons on Merseyside, he hit 23 goals in 129 games, before Man City came in with a big money bid. With Euro 2024 rapidly approaching, it's going to be interesting to see if Sterling can force his way back into this England side. Nathan Ake spent 5 seasons with Chelsea, but due to loans out he'd only played 7 Premier League games for the club. Interestingly, FM 2014 has him listed as a DM, but in more recent times he's played in the back line. Definitely a versatile player though, and one who fits perfectly into Pep Guardiola's system. In 2012, Nick Powell hit 14 goals for Crewe Alexandra in League Two, leading Man United to sign him for a fee of up to £6 million. Considering he'd only scored 1 goal in Manchester, I can't imagine they received the entire amount. Following a number of loans, he eventually moved to Wigan, where in 2018 he had his best professional season, scoring 15 goals and firing his side to Championship promotion. Currently he's still playing with Stockport County. The most valuable teenager on Football Manager 2014, Adnan Januzaj. Despite his young years, already he's showing some incredible potential with explosive speed and elite technical attributes. Unfortunately, it would never quite happen for him in Manchester, and he'd leave the club in 2017 to join Real Sociedad. Internationally, his career has stalled too. Following a match-winning goal against England in the 2018 World Cup, he's made just 5 appearances for Belgium, and given his recent form, a recall looks unlikely. It's hard to believe 2013 was 11 years ago. Many of these players are now approaching 30 and the business end of their careers. With them all on different trajectories, time will tell how they manage to conclude their stories.